And welcome back to What If Minato Survived Part 9. Last time on the Naruto What If, we went through the preliminary parts of the exams, forced to death, obviously, and we are now in the month gap period between the exams, between the finals and preliminaries. And and as I put it, the pairings are the same as they were in the series. It's just Sakura actually made it this version, so she will be going up against Dosu. Now, will Dosu be trying to take out Gaara so he can get closer to Sasuke? Well, no. First off, it would make more sense to take out Sakura, therefore he doesn't even have to fight Sakura. But the reason I think he did it the first time around was due to the fact that he had to wait for his match. There was an odd number of people, and he was the odd man out. So, because it would have evened the matches up, and he would have taken out Sasuke's opponent, which would have caused a very big drastic change to the pairings, that's why he decided to do it. I think Dosu actually would, stay and do what he's doing. But that now leads us to the training. So, obviously, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura go to the Kakashi to see what they actually need to do. By the way, the little house cleaning. I knew there was something I wanted to bring up because there was a discussion. We had a bit of a discussion in the comments about this. So the idea of that, I mentioned that Orochimaru very likely could get an Uchiha body without too much trouble, was countered by side note, my girlfriend's mother said she actually watched one of my videos, my Zanpakuto video. Didn't understand a lick of what I was saying, but she actually thought I presented myself pretty well. Didn't do ums or pauses very much, but sometimes I'll do that because I'm not perfect. But, anywho, so they countered with the fact that he needed to put the curse mark on Sasuke to take his body. To which I countered that there's no evidence that he tried to do that with Itachi. And the guy even says, oh no, he tried to put the curse mark on Itachi, but Itachi just basically, what they say, no soloed him or just beat his ass, whatever. Itachi beat him. To which I actually went and first off, I know for a fact in the manga that's never stated. So I went back to try to watch that in the anime. And there's no evidence for that. The most you can say is that he caught him with the snake, and he was going to use the snake, but as we've seen, Orochimaru uses his mouth to do that. He uses the technique of the curse mark with his fangs from his mouth, and he lengthens that, and that's how he did it with Sasuke anyway. We assume that's how he's done it with, that's how he did it with Kimimaro as well. Because we have no evidence to suggest otherwise that he does it any other way. He may very well have other methods of doing it, but that seems to be the predominant method for doing that curse mark. And sorry to say that the person who was trying to argue that with me, I'm like, I watched that. When you brought that up, I went and found that clip of Orochimaru versus Itachi, and there's no evidence to suggest he was trying to put a curse mark on him. Just as there's no evidence that the guy whose body he took when Sasuke couldn't make it had a curse mark. There's no evidence of that. Then you could say, well, it's Orochimaru's, captains. They all have curse marks. Well, no, they don't, actually. Kabuto doesn't have a curse mark. The Sound 4 sure does, but Suigetsu didn't have it, and he's being experimented on. Karin didn't have one. Jungo's the progenitor of that. Now, there definitely are curse mark subjects. I'm not arguing that. We see that. But as far as I can tell, the curse mark is not mandatory for body swapping. What it was designed to do was corrupt Sasuke's soul and, personality to be more willing to accept Orochimaru's influence. Now, would that have made it easier for him to take over Sasuke's body? Probably. But that's not saying that curse marks are mandatory for body swapping. So, yes, Orochimaru probably still wants the downfall of the leaf, but he's not trying to take Sasuke's body or with a curse mark, or use the curse mark to do so. So now that I got that out of the way, so yeah, the gangs are all going to train with their respective trainers. Now, Neji actually probably does receive training because he receives training from his dad. I know Hiyashi is not his dad's pronunciation. I've always never been able to know how to pronounce Neji's dad. Hizashi. It's like a Hiyashi but with a Z. Anyway, I imagine he'd be training Neji. Neji would probably still pick up at the main branch techniques. Because the thing is, Dad doesn't know him either. Just because you're the main branch, or the branch, you're the, not the main branch. Well, yeah, it's the main branch and then the side, we'll just say side branch. Just because you're the side branch doesn't mean you can't learn these techniques, as Neji proved. So Neji would be doing that. Naruto and Neji, by the way, probably just have a more, like, friendly rivalry. Naruto's not happy what happened with Hinata, but Hinata's still very much okay. She's not drastically hurt. Neji just knocked her out of respect. He might still harbor some grudges against the main household, but it's nothing to do with Hinata, and he's aware of that because his dad helps him out through that. So the question really just is going to become, what is Team 7's training method? Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura go to Kakashi, and Kakashi go, oh, yep, I figured that was the case. Don't worry, Sasuke. I talked it over with your dad, and you're going to be training with me for the next month. Well, what about us, Kakashi said? He's like, well, Naruto, you should probably talk to your father about that. Yeah, good point. And then, good point. And Sakura's just, well, what about me? Don't worry. Well, fortunately, I have the perfect trainer for you. To which Naruto goes to see his dad, and Sakura gets introduced to Kurenai. I imagine because Kurenai, all the Jonins will train other ninjas that aren't their team. It's just that's the individuals they are tasked with training, having a team with, building into the next generation. But they obviously, we see this with like Azuma, for example. Azuma gave Naruto pointers. So it's not unreasonable to think Kurenai would go and help train Sakura and really get her Genjutsu training up, and probably give her an extra Earth Jutsu as well, just because, round her out a bit, as well as probably help with her physical training. Kurenai, as we know, is a Genjutsu master, but that's not to say she probably wasn't physically fit enough to be doing her duty. Even non-physical ninja like Kurenai, whose main techniques are illusion casting, had to be physically fit enough to do the running around that those guys do. But Sakura, you can tell Sakura is a melee fighter, predominantly. The Genjutsu really is more of a secondary boost to her abilities. So, and I think that would be pretty predominant. So she probably enlists Anko for some physical training, and Anko would probably get like the, yeah. It's like, and Sakura's going to be through hell for the next month. Meanwhile, Naruto goes to see his dad, and, his dad is, doing the paperwork to finalize the tuning exam. It's like, Lord Okage, your son's here. Oh, send him in. Naruto, how you doing? Hey, Dad. Well, Kakashi, I'm guessing Kakashi's going to be busy training Sasuke for the next month. Yeah. Oh, wait, you know about that? Yep. Who do you think he told first? So are you going to be training me? I'd like to, son, but there's going to be a lot there's a lot of prep I'm going to have to do for the exams. But fortunately, your godfather showed up. Really? Where is he? Well, I see he came to visit me and then he went off. He said he had to do research. And to which Naruto, knowing Jiraiya very well and long enough, and Jiraiya is almost certainly stopped in and actually said hello to Naruto multiple times, maybe even giving him some pointers on seals. Naruto knows exactly what that means. Like, I'll check the bathhouses. Yep. And so, one of the scenarios I always like is that Naruto finds Jiraiya. And in a scenario where Naruto actually knows a decent amount about seals, kind of temporarily freeze him in place, just without him knowing, just boop. Because Naruto, I think, naturally has a prankster side to him, regardless of his upbringing. And he just, Naruto kicks down the wall, poof, and then there's the best lady female voice, just say, "Oh, pervert!" And say, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, that serves you right for saying, Naruto, you little brat! Oh, never fear, ladies, the Megali Jiraiya is here to swoon and sway you." It's like, "You dirty, well, what?" Wait, Prowl's the seal. Naruto, you deserve it all then. And then you get the girl scream. I really can't do it. I've done it. I brought up the Timmy Turner. Well, for the sake of consistency, hold on. Timmy Turner's dad's girl scream, because that's the voice I always imagined. Timmy Turner's dad's scream. Turner's. Next time I'll have this prep, because I always like this running joke. Dad's girl scream. Dad's screaming like a girl. There it is. Hold on. Uh, 1 second. I was gonna get again prepping it. Um. Oh, okay. I guess the girl scream. That's not the right clip. Sorry. Oh, wait, all of his girl screams. Okay, I'm just gonna get one going. Oh well, then, son, I'd have to scream like this. There you go. Hypothetically, of course. Sorry, I had to get the right clip. So there's Jiraiya's scream. After the fact, Naruto goes and standing over. He's like, "That was a dirty move, Naruto." Well, you're a dirty old man, so it evens out. Fair point. So how you been, Naruto? I was like, I've been doing pretty well, Pervy Sage. Are you ever gonna stop calling me that? You ever gonna stop being a pervert? Never. Then no. And Jiraiya knows that's really a term of endearment. Because he also knows that, yes, he is a giant pervert, so it's not inaccurate. Naruto does, and he knows Naruto does respect him. And there's nothing actually disrespectful what Naruto says. That's the thing. Naruto calls him that, but it's really not a sign of disrespect. It's just who Jiraiya is, and Naruto's never been one for honorifics. So they're going, and they basically get like some ramen and just, catch up a little bit. And Jiraiya basically says, like, so you're needing to help with training for the tuning exams, huh? Yeah, that's about it. And yep, your father mentioned that was the case. Well, luckily, I'm not necessarily here. Didn't necessarily show up to be training, but I'll be here for a little while, and I can do two things at the same time. So we'll catch up. We'll catch you up. Sorry, you'll catch me up, catch me up on what you've learned so far. And we'll go from there. So after that, they go to the training ground near the river. Or the river. It's not really a training ground. It's just a river area they were training in. And he shows them. He shows the Windrill Scale Palm. Great breakthrough. He shows the exploding Shadow Clone Jutsu that he learned. He's also showing off the seals he's learned. I'm actually blanking. Have I done anything else with Naruto right now? I don't think I have. I think that's everything. So Jiraiya's like, Oh, and he shows him that he can't access the Fox Chakra at will at this point. To which I think Jiraiya is aware of that. I think that happened early enough on that he would have known about that. And he basically says, okay, what's your control like with that? I can only go up to the one tail, and that really starts to take a toll on me, not just physically. What do you mean? Well, then the Fox Chakra is flowing through me. I'm feeling a lot like his anger and aggression. It makes sense. He is a pretty angry beast, from what I understand. And the fox growls in Naruto. Perfect jackass. Yeah, he didn't like that. So I was like, you know what? I think it's going to be time. It was passed on down to me. I passed it down to your father. I think it's time you learn this technique, Naruto. And so, he summons Toad, makes the contract. Like, Toad summoning? Really? Yeah, I think it's about time. Now, this training would go for the Toad summoning contract would go very differently. Naruto's got much better chakra control. He's still got massive reserves, and he can access the Fox Chakra at will. Honestly, he probably gets the summoning down within a week. He can summon whoever he wants within a week when he needs to. There's still the whole Jiraiya Gamabunta thing. I wonder if Gamabunta would have met Naruto at this point. Because I can't imagine a scenario within the past 13 years that Minato would have had to have summoned Gamabunta. But he is still the Toad contract. Jiraiya has visited on multiple occasions. I imagine Gamabunta is at least aware of who Naruto is. Because he definitely knows Minato and respects him, absolutely. It's like, who are you? I'm Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Namikaze, you're Minato's boy, aren't you? You do look like your old man. So, why did you summon? You were able to summon. See, here's the thing. Gamabunta even says, I am fully aware this child summoned me. Here, it's not that he's pissed off. He's more like, why am I summoned? Oh, okay. So Minato's boy summoned me. And I think because he has a lot more respect for Minato than he does Jiraiya, let's be honest. He respects Jiraiya. He's a summoner, but he's also like, you old pervert. I am the great chief Toad Gamabunta, and you're an idiot! Yeah, granted, that was to Naruto, but I have a feeling he's kind of similar to Jiraiya in some ways. Yeah, because I think he actually, A, we know he's aware Naruto summoned him, but B, looks at Naruto more like,
all right. You've already signed the contract, so you can summon me regardless. But to prove your worth, I'm going to test you, boy.
See, this is where Gamuto actually lays the claim on the test. It's like he's actually like,
I'm going to test you, Naruto. Do you think you can handle it?
It's like, I can handle anything you dish out, Basto. Believe it.
Well, I like your enthusiasm, but we'll see, brat. Climb up on top of my head. Now the task is simple. Until the sun goes down, you cannot leave my head. No matter what. Should you fail, then we'll be having it. There'll be some issues. However, if you just manage to stay up, you'll earn my respect.
Which this is actually probably a completely non-starter test because the fact that Naruto at his age could summon him at all, he's already got respect for Naruto, and he's Minato's son. It's very clear that Gamuto is just kind of effing with Naruto, but he wants to see what the kid's made of. So he tests him and he starts shaking and does the whole thing. And Naruto's like, ah! But because he can access the Fox chakra and he's got better chakra control, he's able to stay on with sheer chakra alone. Granted, he's probably almost falls off a couple times, but with a combination of clones and wind blast from him as a wind jutsu, he's able to stay on there.
Yeah, I must admit, Brad, you are impressive indeed. Very well, the Toads accept you as our summoner. But we'll have to see the deal with some sake at some point. I'm not old enough to drink. What are you talking about? Which some fanfics kind of put on as like, actually, if you're a ninja, you're kind of old enough to do whatever. Old enough to kill, old enough to die, old enough to drink. The old adage. Oh, okay. So, yeah. But that leaves 3 more weeks. And Jiraiya's like, well, that was a bit easier than I thought. And he thinks on, it's like, let's see, what Winjutsu you know again, Naruto? And, he shows Gale Palm, which is I did learn it. I did figure out kind of a different version of it. Really, a different version of the Gale Palm. Show me, huh? Wind style Buddha Palm. And he just kind of does the whole thing where he drives his fist while using the Gale Palm into a target, which causes a lot more force. And he actually kind of caves in a tree, almost takes out a giant hole out of a tree. Impressive. I think I know something. I'm going to stop by the library and pick some things up. Until then, though, I do have one thing he could practice on. And he hands up the water balloon. He's like, the water balloon? Wait, what's this about? Because even though Naruto knows about the Rasengan very much, he's never because he's not yet to learn, or because he's yet to learn the Rasengan. At least I'm trying to remember. We're now in part 9. Now things are starting to blend a little bit. Trying to remember if Minato maybe had him start on part 1. Either way, regardless, he's starting on part 1 right now. Even if he's been working on it, he would still. Dry would want proof on that. You want to try to learn your old man's signature move, and then he shows up saying, like, "You kidding? What? Yeah." So while I'm at the library, try to pop that balloon using only your chakra. I'll be back. And in fact, before he goes, he leaves a couple more. And on the off chance you're able to do, I'll leave a couple more just for practice, and so you could show me that you can do it. And so Naruto is practicing the water balloon. Jiraiya comes back, and shockingly, Naruto's already popped the balloon. It's like, what? It's like, yeah. And then he just pops. It's like, well, I'll be damned. But then Jiraiya realizes exactly what it was. Like, it's of course your wind chakra makes your wind element makes your chakra a lot more wild in that sense. And when you think about it, that logic would actually make a lot of sense. Why Naruto maybe is inserting elemental chakra in there unconsciously. Either way, he's able to do it. And so, all right. Well, so we got 3 weeks. So what we'll do? So we'll start on the next phase after we get one of these jutsu down, assuming you get it down, of course. And he's got 2 jutsu for him, and he throws one at Naruto. And this one is a wind style wind dome. I'm making this one up. We've never actually seen a technique like this in Naruto, but I assume a technique like this probably exists. We've just never seen it. Either way, I'm making it up now. And in essence, it's exactly what you think. A giant dome of wind. Think of it like the wind style rotation. That basically rotation, but with wind jutsu. It's a dome of swirling wind. The faster it swirls, the stronger the defense is. It can even be a grinding effect, similar to like the rotation does. And so Naruto is working on that. And that is posing a
And that's posing a bit more difficulty for Naruto. Defensive techniques are not really up Naruto's alley, from what we can remember. I mean, yes, in Boruto, I do remember we see him use the mud wall, but in that like test against Boruto. But really, defensive techniques are not Naruto's forte. But he is a very aggressive fighter. Still, though, it's important to have these kind of techniques. So, he's learning it, and I think it takes him about a week to get it down to a usable level. So it's like, well, not bad. All right, week 2, Brat. Time to do the next step. It's like, what's that? What? This next step? Yep. First is to get the rotation down. Next is the power. Boom, you got to pop the rubber ball. And so Naruto attempts it. And this one, no matter how good Naruto's chakra control is, this one takes a bit longer. I would say that Naruto gets it down at the beginning of the final week. Like, it takes even longer than a week. Because I'm trying to remember, Naruto got down like 3 months, if I'm not mistaken, that technique, the Rasengan. But we're looking at a better version of Naruto here. And Naruto basically just finally figures out, puts his power in, blows it up. So I was like, well, we only got a week, Brett. What do you want to do? Try to finish out the Rasengan, or learn the new last wind technique I found for you. It's like, and then Naruto basically just pops out a couple clones. It's like, why not do both? And I'm pretty sure I said that Minato told Naruto kind of like the secret of the clone jutsu. Naruto hasn't been using it probably because he's still Naruto. He isn't. He can be absent-minded and scatterbrained, but also because I kind of forgot that too. So we're throwing that in there, and I was like, well, wait, why did you? And Jiraiya just said, why didn't you use it for the Why did you use it while learning the other techniques? Like, oh well, because I honestly kind of forgot about it. I have a time crunch, and I just don't normally think about it for training purposes. But Dad told me about the learning of the experience and stuff like that. I was like, well, he's right about that. So the final win technique, for all you longtime viewers, is an old favorite of mine, the tornado fist explosion. I love that technique. How that never transferred to a Naruto jutsu, I'll actually never know. I'll never know. It's like a perfect Naruto jutsu. It really is. Tornado fist explosion, and the final Rasengan, where basically he's got to contain it. And that chakra, that's hard. I will say this. Naruto is able to get the wind jutsu down, the tornado fist explosion down. All right, he can use it. And he's also he brushes off like the final day on the jutsu he does know. So like the last day, he brushes up on every jutsu, including tornado fist. So, I can do it. You can use it on a usable level. Wind dome's got that. Gale pump, all that good stuff. But he's still struggling with the chakra control of the Rasengan to compress it into the Rasengan itself, to compress it into the ball. He can get it kind of into that swirling mass, but that has the chakra running off it, but he can't get it into the condensed ball. So right now that's where he stands in terms of power. Sasuke obviously learns the Chidori, as well as Rock Lee's level of strength. Sakura has learned a couple solid genjutsu, as well as another earth ninjutsu, which is an actual jutsu, by the way. The jutsu I'm thinking of is an actual jutsu. I can't remember the actual name of it, but I will use the name I have for it. And so that is where this part of the What If is going to end. We're at the near 24-minute mark, so I think this is a good spot to end. Going into the finals of the tuning exams is perfect. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know the review at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you folks next time.